It's been a crazy year to say the least. I mean, we're still in the mix of this coronavirus, which I believe will be here for a lot longer, making this the new norm. Now, there are all these different strains and variants. It's real crazy out here, people. And personally, this has been a year of ups and downs. As I'm sure most, if not all of you can relate, it seems like way more ups than downs. If you listened to my last show, you know all the birthdays in my house that are coming up. This year, your boy turns 45. It's crazy to think when I was younger, I don't ever remember thinking when I'm in my 40s, I want to be doing this or that. I mean, I'm sure we all had dreams of what we wanted to be when we grew up, but how far ahead did you really think? I wanted to be a professional athlete and knew how I would want my career to go, but never stopped to realize, even if that does work out, what do you do when you retire? 45, the same number Jordan wore when he came back from his first retirement. Am I the only one that relates their age to the number of an athlete? I'm sorry, guys, I've digressed. As I was saying before, this has been a very trying year for me and my family. At the end of it all, I'm extremely grateful for everything that I have and look forward to receiving the things that I don't have in this coming year. They say the older you get, the faster the time goes, which seems to be true. What I've learned is that it only seems that way because as you get older, you have more responsibilities to handle. They lied to us once again when they said time flies when you're having fun. Time flies when you're occupied. My mother used to always say, a watched pot never boils. So let's get into it. The year started off great as all of my boys were here with me to kick off my birthday and New Year's. In February, I surprised my wife with a trip to Las Vegas for her birthday and ended up purchasing a timeshare for her. Neither one of us had been to Vegas before, so it was extra special. Then in April, on the 18th to be exact, my first grandchild entered the world. To make it even more special, it was a girl. I only say that because I had 3 boys, so this was the first girl in my bloodline. And what a precious angel she is. I thought being a father was something, but to be a grandparent that is actually around every day to see your child take care of their child is something special that you have to experience. Yes, it's great to see your grandchildren on occasions and things like that, but to actually be there every day to see the growth is something completely different. Then my middle daughter graduated high school in June and decided that she wanted to go away for college. Honestly, this was a good and a bad thing. The good was she was determined to further her education. The bad is that she was going away. Now, as parents, we talk a lot of shit about not being able to wait for the kids to get out on their own and fly the coop, but deep down, you never want to let your children go. It's cool because her college is only like an hour drive. Then, of course, here comes the bad. During the summer, around the beginning to middle of July, me and my wife decided to get a separation. Things were going on at our jobs and we weren't communicating the way we were supposed to be doing, and things went sideways like they always do when there's no communication. I also think the fact that our daughter was leaving was putting a strain on things. Things were bad. Although we never actually separated because we stayed in the same house together, it was rough. I'm sure my nonchalant attitude didn't help things, but that's just how I am. I honestly believe that the only thing that saved our marriage was our anniversary in August. We had already made plans to go to Las Vegas for our anniversary, and let's be honest, who's going to pass up a free trip to Vegas? I only say free because everything had already been paid for, including the flight, so why not go? As I said before, I purchased a timeshare, so we're able to go there for free whenever we want. I'm so glad that we did. It's like once we got on the plane, all the communications came back. That was the best week we've probably had together in about 6 months since we went to Vegas for my wife's birthday. Things are back on track. Yeah, we're still dealing with everyday life and the bullshit that comes along with it, but we're in a really good place. And once again, here comes the bad. And this time it will be something that will change my life forever. On October 13th, my oldest son Trey passed away. He was only 23 years old, and his daughter hadn't even turned 6 months old yet. A decision had to be made. Do I have his services down here in North Carolina, or do I have his body shipped up to New York and have it there? So after a few discussions, I decided to have his services in our hometown, Utica, New York. That was probably the worst decision I have ever made. I did not make this podcast to bash anybody or anything like that, but I will say this. Y'all are wrong for the things you did and the way you went about doing it. And if you're listening to this, you know who you are. And I definitely invite you to be on the show and we could talk about it. It's crazy how guilt makes people react to things. My son wouldn't want me going back and forth or even naming names on this platform, so I won't. But the invitation is open as long as I'm doing these shows. As I said on my last show, this is the most wonderful time of the year, and I know my son will be right here with me enjoying it. So that's what I'm trying to do. It's hard losing a loved one, especially a child. I vouch to bring positivity even more than I thought I was already bringing to each and every person that I encounter. Life will never be the same for me and my family, but despite the hole that will forever be in my heart because of Trey, I will not allow this situation to turn me into a cold, bitter person. Not only am I proud of my son, but my son is also proud of me, and that was expressed constantly to each other. He was the only person on this planet that would call me out and actually articulate why he was calling me out. He was truly my best friend, and the way for me to honor him is to do the things we always talked about doing. He motivated me to start doing these podcasts. It's hard to deal with at times, and I break down way more than I'd like to admit, and that's okay. If you're listening to this and you've had a similar experience, trust and believe there is nothing wrong with breaking down and crying. The key to it is not letting that moment dictate your day. You know that's not what they would want. People say take it day by day. Fuck that. Take it moment by moment, because anything can happen at any given moment that sparks a memory. Just try to focus on the good of the memory. My birthday has also been a big deal to me because, as I'm sure a lot of my fellow Capricorns know, you really get the short end of the stick growing up with your birthday so close to Christmas. Then the party isn't as big because it's so close to New Year's, so everybody's gearing up for that party. Once I became able to, I just partied the whole week. The good thing about my birthday is that I never went to school because it's literally in the middle of Christmas and New Year's. And as an adult, I've never worked on my birthday either. I hurt my back trying to go back to work too soon after my son's passing, so I'm currently on light duty. Because of everything that has been going on, I didn't get to put in my request to have my birthday off this year. But the way God works is amazing. My birthday falls on a Wednesday, which happens to be my normal day off. Little things like this are where we have to realize that lets you know things will be all right. Maybe not perfect or even fantabulous, I love that word, but they will be all right. Of course, I wish there was another way for me to learn whatever lesson that I obviously need to learn than having my son taken. I wish every day that it was me instead of him. So the only thing I can do is what I told him I was going to do. Sorry if I kind of went off to the dark side, but that's what happens when you go through something like this. That was my year pretty much in a nutshell. And the moral of the story is that I'm still here. I'm still strong. I'm still moving forward. And you can too. You have to. On a brighter note, I'm thinking about creating another course. I've created 2 courses so far, one on mental stability and one on financial literacy. I want to help as many people as possible this coming year, whether it be through financial literacy, personal training, or mental health. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube page at Coleman Company LLC. Make sure to put the LLC at the end. By the way, any entrepreneurs, please leave a message or comment because I have a platform called Convene Communities that I know will help you with your branding regardless of the business that you're in. I truly hope this Christmas season brought you joy and happiness and that the new year brings you all your dreams come true. As always, I'm looking for guests to be on the show with me, so if there's anything you want to talk about and feel you can't talk to people around you, let's talk about it on the show. I'll always be here for you. Nobody can do everything by themselves. Everybody needs some help sometimes. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this here. From my family to yours, happy holidays, and I'll catch you on the flip side.